What if everything you've been told about enlightenment is built on a mistake? What if you're not actually moving toward a higher version of yourself, not collecting wisdom, not becoming more spiritual, not evolving into someone new? What if none of it is a path upward at all, but a misunderstanding of what was being searched for in the first place? That idea can feel almost impossible to accept, because if nothing is missing, why does it feel like something is? Why does peace seem so rare? Why does awakening feel so out of reach? And yet, the real confusion isn't that enlightenment is difficult to find. It's that the search itself has never been aimed at what you think it has. And once that starts to register, even faintly, the way you understand the spiritual journey quietly begins to change. The strange way we search. Think about how most people approach spirituality. We collect books, watch videos, try new meditation techniques, listen to teachers, memorize philosophies. Each new insight feels like another brick added to a growing spiritual identity. We quietly believe that if we gather enough knowledge, enough experiences, enough practices, one day we'll finally become enlightened. But here's the strange part. Who is the one trying so desperately to become enlightened? The very sense of me that's doing all the searching is often the thing being questioned. Imagine searching your entire house for your glasses, only to discover they've been resting on your face the whole time. The search wasn't wrong. It simply began from a false assumption. You can't remember what was never gone. Think about remembering someone's name. You don't create it. You don't manufacture it. You simply stop struggling for a moment, and suddenly it's there. The memory wasn't produced, it surfaced. Many spiritual traditions describe awakening in much the same way. Not as acquiring truth, but as uncovering what has always been present beneath layers of distraction, conditioning, fear, and identification. From our earliest years, we begin piecing together an image of who we are. We learn our name. We start thinking of ourselves in terms of what we've accomplished, what we believe, and everything we've been through. And that's completely normal. It's how most of us learn to make sense of the world. But as the years pass, the image you've created becomes so deeply rooted that it starts to define how you relate to everything around you. It shapes your reactions, your expectations, and even the questions you ask. Enlightenment isn't about becoming a better version of yourself. It's recognizing the quiet awareness that has been present through every version you've ever been. The awareness you never notice. Here's a question most people never really ask, because it cuts too close. What if there is no fixed you behind your thoughts? Not in theory, in real time. Because right now, something happens, and it feels like you are thinking it. A thought appears, then another explains it, then another reacts to it. And instantly, it's all stitched into the feeling of a single me. But if you look closely, there's no point where a solid self actually steps in, only thoughts generating more thoughts. Meaning layering onto meaning. Identity forming as a process, not a thing. Even the idea of something observing it all is just another thought appearing inside the same flow. And what's left isn't a watcher behind experience. It's experience unfolding so quickly that it produces the feeling of a controller behind it all. And most of us spend our entire lives absorbed in what appears within experience, without ever pausing to notice the process in which it's all appearing. It's like becoming so focused on the weather that you forget the sky it's moving through. Storms appear, clear skies return, clouds constantly shift and reshape, but the sky itself remains unchanged. It isn't disturbed by the storms or enhanced by the sunshine. It simply holds it all without being affected. Perhaps your awareness is more like that than you've ever realized. Why we keep forgetting. If this is always here, why does it feel so hidden? Because the mind is incredibly persuasive. It doesn't present reality directly. It filters it, shapes it, overlays it with constant interpretation. I need more. This isn't enough. I should be different. Pay attention and you'll notice a pattern. Experience is never just experience. It's immediately labeled, compared, and turned into a problem to solve or a story to continue. The raw simplicity of what's here gets buried under layers of commentary. And in that noise, presence becomes easy to miss. Not because it has disappeared, but because attention has been pulled into the commentary about it. But every now and then, something changes. Not because anything improves, not because anything is gained, but because the noise briefly loses momentum. And in that small gap, there's something unmistakable, simple, unconstructed, already present, before any interpretation arrives. Remembering isn't the end. This doesn't mean life suddenly becomes flawless. Awakening doesn't remove your humanity. It transforms how you experience it. Ironically, this makes ordinary life feel extraordinary. Simple conversations become richer. A quiet sunrise becomes enough. Even moments of silence start revealing something words never could. The world hasn't changed. The one looking at it has. Final reflection. Maybe enlightenment isn't waiting at the end of some impossible journey. Maybe every genuine spiritual practice, meditation, mindfulness, self-inquiry, compassion, is simply helping remove what has been covering the truth all along, not creating awareness, revealing it. So perhaps the question isn't, how do I become enlightened? Perhaps it's far more interesting than that. What have I been overlooking that's already present? If this perspective gave you something new to reflect on, consider subscribing to Mystic Reflections. Each week we explore profound spiritual insights that invite you to see yourself and reality in an entirely new way. Until next time, let attention settle inward, not toward something absent, but toward what's quietly present already. And in that recognition, nothing is missing at all.